Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for June 10th through 17th, 2024. Well, we are in a very intense, power-packed astrology right now as we are feeling our personal planets take their turns one by one in the sign of Gemini, squaring up with Saturn in the sign of Pisces. This is mutable squares, one after another, and mutable signs are about adjusting, shifting, and changing. The square energy is like you can't keep going the way you're going. What this is bringing forward is like a deconstruction of our lives, a deconstruction of the old paradigms, a deconstruction of the matrix, a deconstruction of our personality constructs, of everything we thought we were. And it's really, really intense. Just today, we've got the sun in exact square to Saturn, and yesterday, Venus was in exact square to Saturn. And we've been talking about how these squares have the feeling of wrestling back our organic mother timeline, wrestling the back Saturn from the Satan dark black cube, the lower matrix, the energies that have sought to use physical manifestation form in order to enslave humanity. So we're setting ourselves free. And remember that as these old stories bloom, because Saturn in Pisces is, of course, going to bring forward any energies left over from the Piscean age that are still in our field that need to be resolved. So these energies are blooming, especially with Neptune also in Pisces at the very end degree, 29 degrees. So, but the big energy we're feeling today, along with all of this, is Mars just has moved into Taurus today, the sign of Taurus, and that means in square to Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius right now. So Mars square Pluto is really intense, and we have the Sun and Venus, they're still close together in square to Saturn at the same time. Whoa. And so not only are we having this deconstruction, a reworking of our narratives and our role and our Dharma path with Saturn in Pisces, but Mars, our warrior, at moving into Taurus, in square to Pluto, is speaking about what's in the way or what might be keeping us from moving into the Aquarian age, because Mars is our go-getter planet, our masculine, let's do this. And Mars just had this last week was so intense too, because we had Mars at the very end degrees of his home sign of Aries. A lot of feistiness, a lot of internal, external judgments, this feeling of impatience and anger and frustration at the limitations. It's a very powerful combination, because that's kind of the core energy behind these Saturn, because Saturn in the old paradigm is blocks and obstacles to your path, but it's also your path itself. So what we're doing is we're claiming back our true Dharma path. So it also feels like we must be incarnating this bigger self, coming into who we really are. And so that's a lot of what we really want to pay attention with these squares is, yes, the blooming of the old stories, but also where is it showing you your core essence, the truth of who you are, what you bring in your own unique, beautiful petal of her lotus, that part of the dream that you carry. And it's like she's standing witness for us right now as we tumble out of this Taurus energy of bringing into form and revaluing into Gemini, which is about expressing. And so it's like bringing out these treasures and sharing them with the world. And she's standing with us as a witness while we deep dive into to go underneath the rubble, the suffocating energies of the past in order to find that treasure chest of all the gifts and skills that we have worked with and developed over many lifetimes. And we've gotten the message that what we really want to work with the most, come into full expression of in this incarnation, it may be the most hidden gifts or set of skills that we have. No wonder we have no idea where we're going. But all of this astrology is speaking to clarity coming. Help is on the way. We're lifting up. We're taking it to a new level. We've been feeling this kite. The axis of the kite is Neptune, opposite Neptune in Pisces, 29 degrees, opposite of Black Moon Lilith, now at 27 degrees. The exact of this opposition between Neptune and Black Moon Lilith uh, will be the 21st to the 29th of June. So, right at that solstice marker. That week, very powerful because that's the quintessential expression of what this kite is saying we want to lift up out of or into, or what we're really doing here. So that's a very powerful week of energy, and we will have clarity. Black Moon Lilith is deep dark secrets. So when there's powerful transits, especially with Neptune, the illusion, delusion, what's going on in reality, we're looking at disclosure energies for that third week of June. Things coming to light in our own life, in the world, deep dark secrets. Picture that's coming forward is like a flash bulb, like an old school flash bulb, where you just get one flash out of it, and it's one bright light, and you take the picture. And in a way, what's happening right now is this these illuminations in our life, and showing us the deep, dark, hidden corners where the vermin and the parasitic energies might still be lurking, you know. But it's very, very powerful, this flash of light energy. And it seems to be coming in situations where you might not know what's going on, but you can tell, or you need more information, or, you know, your heart, your soul, your alignment, your love of the mother, your healing power coming online, moving energy, and having the effect of boom, flash, power, like seeing, being shown. And you can ask for this too. If you are in a situation where you need to know very quickly who's who and what's what and what's going on, this picture of these legions of light that are here to work with us and bringing this kind of flash of energy of that clarity and perspective. Like, oh, well, the flash was just for a moment, but it illuminated these dark corners, and you can't unsee what you've seen. So that's the energy of Neptune opposite uh, Black Moon Lilith for that third week of June. And that's an energy basically saying, and when they come into exact opposition, we're looking at the energy of that kite that we just experienced. It's just, we're still feeling it. We'll feel the energy of the kite, I believe, through this month, of this kite shape that we've felt it for the last couple weeks. It's a loose kite with that Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces, the very end of the story of we don't know what's really going on, the lies, the delusions, the propaganda, the duplicity, you know, all that is just on the table to be resolved. Black Moon Lilith, deep, dark, hidden secrets. The duplicity, the lies are all about keeping us from knowing the power that we have to access creation energy for healing, to access creation energy to dream and breathe this new reality and world into existence, to manifest into form what we have been visioning and dreaming and working on for so long. And the deal with this is that we've got Mars moving into Taurus today is bringing this energy, because Mars has the motor. Mars is like, let's go. But in Taurus, it's about coming into form. And Mars is saying, okay, he's the last one to go over our personal, go over Jupiter or Uranus in Taurus now. Jupiter's in Gemini. And so Mars has the final say, kind of, and he's the last of the train of planets moving through the caboose, and he's bringing more of this kind of like, okay, now what does it look like as we bring it into form? The new wealth, the new abundance, the abundance economy, our completely different way of doing things, saying this is the mother's world, and she claims it back now, all of her resources, and all must come into alignment. All of her resources must be only used for things that are in alignment with her dream and her love. And it's so beautiful. And we can claim this in our heart and our soul, moment to moment throughout our day. That's what we're being called to do, because the energy of this opposition, Black Moon, Lilith, Neptune, it's intense, it's dark, it's secret, it's hidden, it's delusions, but it's also like the mysteries coming forward, the magic coming forward, this unleashing of this power, because Virgo's like Black Moon, Lilith, and Virgo is deep, dark secrets around where we've been persecuted for our power. And so as you come out of persecution, you're coming back into access to this creation energy, an incredibly powerful healing force. And it turns out been talking about that we can't get out of the Piscean age, all the delusions and the old stories and the propaganda and all persecution energies and trauma programming but we also, it's like, this time is about getting out of those old stories, but we can't get out of the Piscean age until we also reclaim the miracles, magic, and blessings. And this is what's coming forward as you access again this incredible healing force, this creation energy, and be able to work with it in the world. Get ready for miracle healings that you get to witness and be a part of. And in order to have miracles, you've got to have a need for a miracle. And so this is what's all shaking out in our world right now. And so Mars is this, now in Taurus and ready to kind of manifest and bring it into form, but square with Pluto. And Pluto's going, oh, really? You're really ready, huh? Like you really know what you're doing? You're just going to go out there and, go out of the Stockholm Syndrome gate and just be free and just set yourself, go ahead and claim your reality in your world. Can you really handle your power? Like, are you really ready to move into the Aquarian age? Do you still have any loyalties? That's the energy of these squares. Do you still have any loyalties to the lower matrix constructs, the false self, the lies, the stories, everything you've been trying to defend yourself against and try to be fit into what they need from you so that you can just survive and exist in this world? And it's like, no more compromising in this landing home of our true role, our true self. And it's very humbling. It's very, it can be traumatic feeling, feeling like there's no way out of this one. You are so much bigger and so much more powerful than they've allowed us to know. And as this lands home, and it's like, oh no, what if she was right? What if Adrian was right talking about all this all these years? Like, we really are landing home to this way bigger picture story construct project. It's so beyond what we can imagine in this role, this humbling feeling of like, whoa, you are coming into this role, massive energetic place in this grand story, that everyone around you has denied and ignored and belittled, try to distract you away from the power of your healing force, the power you have to be a visionary, to create, co-create new earth. And now it's like, whoa, no, none of that can hold down the giant that you are. And so it's like almost like, you realize that those things holding you down actually can't hold you down. But are you ready to stand up, wake up as that sleeping giant, as the power that you are? And that's the place we're at. It's very interesting because we're also got this message in the world, right? That we know that we're there. We understand fully. We're starting to find in our consciousness, holding the human collective consciousness, that we don't need an external authority. We don't need to give our power over. We don't need to wait and try to get the government or some savior to come and do it for us. We need to take charge of our own autonomy and authority. And that's the energy of the Piscean age. I mean, moving into the Aquarian age. But coming into our own authority has its own, we have to clear all the fear programming. We have to face it. We're not going to find it till we begin to move into our power. Programming around whether it's safe or not, whether we can handle it, and all of that is just kind of, so it's just like our kundalini is beginning to awaken and move, and the energies, and it's kind of like, oh, we have these stories where they were treated very horribly for turning our light on, being in the energy of this healing, being in the Kundalini awakening. That was they demonized and persecuted that, and now it's just happening to us. See this tricky place? We've got a lot of deep and profound triggers, trauma triggers that you might not even have known that you have. And that's where we got to be really careful with ourselves right now, because it is not, it's a very psychologically fragile place for all of your constructs of everything you thought of who you were and what you're doing and what this world is about, and true history and all that. It's like all to break down at one time. And what are you left with? Who are you then? And it's beautiful because you are who you were when you first came in here, a beautiful, pure, uncorruptible soul. Now you have additional facets of all this experience of badassery of what you've gone through, right? But we're reclaiming that original purity. So that's maybe coming back to these Saturn squares, the energy of wrestling back the mother's timeline, wrestling back our reality, wrestling back our Dharma path, wrestling back the resources and support right here, right now, to do the work we came here to do. Just like standing up and owning the wealth that you are. And because we really as the part of taking back the power is this energy of um, standing in the truth of who we really are as purified souls, and understanding that it was ours all along, and we're claiming it back. So we're doing this with every breath, or like the way we're living our life right now. That huge message with all of these Neptune, the energies, Pisces energies, live and breathe in the energy of what you want to create. This is the one thing they don't want us to know. This is what all the narratives and stories out there are trying to distract us from: the power of human consciousness to create its own reality, especially when we come and work together. But now they've got us kind of cordoned off in these technological quarantine grids, but it's breaking down, and we're reaching out and we're beginning to feel each other, soul groups coming together. It's like tumbling into place, right? That feeling of, well, you better roll with it. It's not your project. You don't know, but it's happening. And it's that picture of like just it's so difficult to surrender, of course, after being so harmed and so hurt and so vulnerable. But we are being asked to surrender to her love, to the path, to the way. It's kind of like that um, rolling with in the white water, rolling with the energies, event, coming back up for air, but rolling with what's happening, a dance with the universe, with the mother, as we untangle these entanglements and come into claim back our true Dharma path, what we really came here to do. We don't know exactly what it looks like, right? But the energy of it and our permission for it. This is our inheritance. Also, our Kundalini awakening, our higher frequency vibrations, our permission to take it to the next level, which was kind of that kite shape. And it's interesting, we felt the activation of the kite, but we don't feel the opposition exact, like I said, for that until that third week of June. So that's going to be kind of an activation of the issues that are keeping us from taking flight into higher dimensional realities. But it's definitely like a picture of, get on. If you're on the ride, you got to get on. We can't go back and forth in between with these different frequencies anymore. We've got to like really claim and own. And, it's like the train's leaving the station. We got to show up and get on. Excuse me. And not be scared. We got to say yes, our whole being, to this experience. And it's so hard, of course, because you're going to find those traumatized areas within you that get triggered as you come into this place of surrender. But we're finding that energy of how much bigger it is than our little constructs. So there's a glorious demolition happening of all the lower false realities and agendas and things that we thought we had to do, and for ourselves and others and for the world. we're coming to that very humbled place with the mother where we just kind of crumple back into her arms and say, all right, I'm coming home, Mom. I'm here. Took me a while. I got a little, I'm like just a little fragile from the fall, and just putting the pieces back together. Be very, very gentle with yourself because of this deconstruction process. Because the squares with Saturn right in a row, right? We got Venus yesterday, Sun today, Mercury in a couple days. At the same time, Mars square Saturn. Whoa, it's like coming to the edge of like almost, it's got an energy of a purge. When you know that in sacred medicine ceremony, or say you had a stomach bug or something, and you kind of come to this place where you're like, you got to get it out, and it's like gathering up, and it's like, oh, this is what it kind of is, the collective energy in our bodies. A lot of messages about rapid detox and transformation, transmutation. These stories are arising, but we're tapping into the power of the mother to transmute and be like, all right, I'm going to take this, feel the pain, see the story, and alchemize it into something beautiful. Maybe that's our deep dive into our treasure chest. And can we let the whole world and everything that's happening, even if it's a dark old story playing out, can we thank it and love it as an expression of source, because we're going back home? Thank you. I love you. Like, yes, it might be excruciatingly painful. It's beautiful to come this uncovering, this glorious demolition of all the constructs. So it's almost like lifetime after lifetime, these different roles and stories. And it's like coming to this place and being like, oh, wow, I'm still trying to fulfill some sort of contractual storyline that wasn't happened in that life, in this life, and it's almost like these different costumes and clothes that we've worn. And now it's just dropping away. And it's like, oh, there goes another one. Ooh, who am I now? And then another one, and then you're just kind of at this place, but it feels vulnerable, but it's also that pure essence of your soul that was uncorruptible. This deep and profound beauty and peace and love and acceptance of who you are, love of who you are, stopping from this rat race life and beginning to enjoy your own energy, to receive and own and feel and receive your own energy. Uh, this is what we got to learn, right? If we're going to be that overflowing cup for the world, we must learn how to receive it in ourselves. So it's just a tender place, intimate, coming back to the mother, facing down the old stories, old demons, say, I'm not scared of you, right? I experienced that. I learned from it. Now I've got some superpowers. I don't need to play that. I don't need to play that role, play that story, or be attached in any way. That movie's over, and I've got roll the credits. Um, let's move on to the new movie. And that's what we really want to keep in mind, because the energy of the magic of this kite was the trine, the grand trine. And this is between Black Moon Lilith at 27 degrees of Virgo and Jupiter now at 3 degrees Gemini, and Pluto is now at 1 degree. So they're still in this trine. Jupiter trine Pluto, very special. And we feel that through the 16th, through the middle of June. And that's probably really helpful, because the energy of these squares, Mars square Saturn, and then Mercury's coming up. Mars square Pluto. Mercury's coming up to square Saturn on the 12th, 13th. And so those really intense squares, if we just can remember that it's bringing up everything that's keeping our kite from taking flight. And so we've got, on the one hand, very difficult squares. No, you're not going that way. You can't do it that way. Something's got to give. Something's got to break. And it's just complete dismantling, of life on all levels. That means I think you're doing it right. It's a message. And so we've got all that going on, but we also have this backdrop of magic and miracles and blessings. And the earth trine between, I mean, air trine between Jupiter and Pluto is so beautiful because it's saying expanding into the new Renaissance, into the Aquarian Age. Let's go. Let's lift up. Let's get a new perspective. Let's see the truth. What do we need to see? That's that Black Moon, Lilith, and Virgo. So that air trine will carry us through these difficult squares. We also have Pluto in sextile to Neptune. And this Pluto sextile Neptune will happen through the end of this year. And this is the backdrop energy of like, okay, yeah, so we got to go back into Capricorn. We got all these squares. We're wrestling back our timeline. We're cleaning up the dark hidden secrets. We're uncovering, deep dive, deconstructing our whole, reality. But then we've got in the background, the backdrop, a new backdrop. And we started to feel this for pretty much in May last month, at the beginning of May. And so we've got Pluto now at 1 degree Aquarius and Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. And then Pluto will go back into Capricorn, and that's when they'll be in a closer configuration of sextile, and that's basically the month of September, October. That's so powerful because that's also when Pluto goes back into Capricorn. Now we're leading up to this because just keep in mind that as much as there's difficult transits right now, there's the beautiful transits, the miracles, the magic, the higher vibration, the new renaissance, the new perspective, all that happening too. And so as it's very beautiful that yes, Pluto has to go back into Capricorn, but into this beautiful sextile with Neptune. And the Neptune at that end degrees of Pisces saying, hey, oh, we could dream a different dream. And Pluto's a breaker, downer, destroyer, activator, wrecking ball, and so it's like, oh, and then as it goes back to Capricorn, it's wrecking ball for false authority structures. So it's like wrecking ball, glorious demolition to false authority structures as we build and grow the new beautiful manifestations of the seeds we've planted over all these lifetimes, these projects we came to do together. It's like we are an organism, supernova souls. We are part of this oneness, beyond the oneness in our own group. Like we have these different roles to play in this very beautiful thing, like the body, This came through the Agar Casey readings. Like our body works in all these different parts, but does the hand know it's a part working for the glandular system or whatever, So this is what we're coming to see and know, is that we're a part of an organism. And that's why we have to break down all the constructs of who we thought we were in our own individual plan of attack or projects and all that. We got to let go of all those attachments because it's so much bigger, and you're a part. We're all a part of this organism, and we have a part we've already designed and wanted to play. That's that petal of the lotus of her beautiful dream. So that is the power behind these Saturn transits and Saturn squares, because it's like tension pushing us into our true Dharma path, tension pushing us into owning our reality, claiming back our abundance. All of these resources that they've stolen from us, all our healing power, our healing centers, our good way of doing things, our nurturing, our love, our midwifery, they stole it all, They couldn't have even one example of a different way to do it left, or one shaman. They had to completely eradicate, which means that's why you've gone through what you've gone through. And that also means we only need one example of a different way to do things, of that healing center, of the societal, farming project, of this. We only need one really good example breaks the whole paradigm, because it says, wait a minute, you could do it this way. That's who we are. We're the demonstration project. So this time is very powerful. This is deconstruction, but it's also the landing home of your path, your way, like what has already been written for you that you haven't been able to figure out what you're doing. And that has a lot to do with the fact that as we come off of these squares, the squares, Mars square Pluto and Mercury square Saturn, go through the 14th. And then we start to feel on the 15th and the 17th, Mercury catches up to first the Sun and then Venus. And so this is like Mercury's finally coming out of his retrograde shadow, like his fog. He didn't know, he got whiplash with all he had to go through in that Aries, the eclipse, Chiron, 3 Chiron conjunctions, a week and a half with the North Node. He's whipped. He's like, doesn't know what's going on. And then all this activation of the Taurus going over Jupiter and Uranus. And now Mercury catching back up. This is the council. This is the clarity. This is to say, hey, what did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? What are we going to do about it? What's our path forward? So clarity is coming and help is on the way is the message as we learn to fly again. Because that kite was like, you guys ready? Aquarian Age, new Renaissance? Like, is it okay to come back to joy? The energy you feel of when you're really in touch with the creation energies, the juicy, what life should be, an ecstatic existence of moving, healing, loving, creating with these raw creation energies, bringing them together in each our individual facets for this beautiful organism project that we are going to be working on. Really, really beautiful time. Super dynamic. When you have these harmonious transits with the squares at the same time, it's like pushing, pushing, pushing. And yet it says, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You got this. You know, we're making it up that hill. And this is the energy of this astrology. It's like climbing the climb, you know, and you're on the mountain and you think you're making, oh, there's the top, right? And you get there and then it's just another saddle, you know, and you're like, oh gosh, you know, but we're from this saddle, we're not quite to the very top, but we can see where we've come from. That's really exciting because we've been lost in the wilderness for quite a while. So just soak that up, you know, the blooming, the emotions, the grieving, the Dharma Path landing, this being open to the clarity and the worthiness and the guidance to begin to bring what you have forward. That's where we're at. And that just remind yourself that that's what all this astrology is about. And also finding our people and beginning to sing that song that's been unexpressed in the world, which we're finding is the song of the divine feminine. So Mercury catching back up after, remember, we've just had the Sun and Venus together for the whole first week of June, exactly conjunct. The Sun and Venus will stay close until the 19th, right? Leading up to the solstice. So there's a powerful energy there. The squares will be off. The kite will be, or the Jupiter trine Pluto will be off. The kite will be resolving. So that'll be a shift of energy there around the middle of the month once this resolves. And then that's when we have Mercury catch up to the Sun, Mercury catch up to Venus. Mercury Sun on the 15th and Mercury Venus on the 17th. And that's like ding, ding, two bells, two silver bells this time, and maybe big gong bell, brass bells ringing out like, um, and so maybe the masculine and the feminine, because Mercury catching up to the Sun, kind of activating masculine energies, catching up to Venus, feminine, two gongs, ringing the bell. The sacred marriage ceremony has begun. We're called to the inner temple, to the sanctum, to the place where we heal our heart and bring together our masculine and feminine. We did a beautiful, powerful journey and exercise with that with the Owning Your Energetic Field course that took place this last Saturday. Really powerful work with our our masculine and feminine aspects of ourselves, healing the wounds, opening the heart, and stepping into that bridal chamber where you are the pillar of light between heaven and earth. This is what we're doing. And it's a beautiful, beautiful time. So don't lose sight of that. Check out the replay of that heart class, Journey into the Heart. information to sign up for that is the information box below. A wonderful series on owning your energetic field, the most important and crucial work for supernova souls, to hold and contain our energy so we can work our magic and miracles. Are you ready to be a channel of blessings, to lift up, to learn to fly again, to take back joy and creation energy, to take back our sense of self, our sense of purpose, our sense of well-being, to rest in life, to live life instead of going along with the slave rat race? You know, we are rewriting the story moment to moment, breath by breath, and it's really intense because you're going to have moments where you're like, I have no idea who I am, where I'm going, what I'm doing. And it's kind of like somebody having, you know, it's like conversation or, you know, some sort of interaction, and your mind just goes blank. You know, it's like, I got nothing. They're like, what do you think about this? And you're like, wait, what? You know, because we're so in this process of continually dissolving, and you might not be able to hold on to those concepts. You know, like it's like we're finding the core essence, essential things that we want to bring forward as we talk. Gemini's the orator, you know, and we have Jupiter now, Mercury, Sun, Venus, all in Gemini still. And Jupiter is going to be there for this whole next year, you know, bringing the song forward, bringing the expansion into our expression. And it's like, now we go, now we move, now we vibrate. And as you vibrate, as you share, then your vibration goes out, and your people can feel you and find you and tune in to your radio station and cross your path, because it's time. You know, do you deserve it? Are you ready? You know, most supernova souls have not found even one other supernova soul like to really connect with, much less an intimate partner or soulmate, spiritual relationship. And that's the card we're playing as well. It's so powerful to come together in that way. And this soulmate love, just power of the universe. And it feels like that's part of this song that we're singing as we become comfortable again with expressing our truth. You know, how can our true core soul group find us if we're not expressing our truth? And that vibration can now ring out. So that's the energy here of this these conjunctions: Sun Mercury on the 15th, Mercury Venus on the 17th. It's like, wait, what's the song? Oh, that's the song. Oh, this is the core essence. What are you with all those stories peeled away? What's left? What were you at the beginning? You know, what is the essence? It's being revealed, and we have to grab a hold of it, you know? So really powerful. Just sit tight through these squares. Like I said, they resolve about the 14th, and we have a shift of energy, and we have then those conjunctions are kind of like a celebration of making it through. And we'll feel those conjunctions of Sun, Mercury, and Mercury, Venus, Mercury, Sun, Mercury, Venus up till the solstice. So we'll be having a soul group session for the solstice, a group intuitive reading to tune into the energies and vibrations. So look out for that. I believe the solstice this year is on the 21st. So that will be a very powerful marker astrologically as well, saying, yeah, now we move into the landing home, the manifestation, the coming into form of all these beautiful visions. It's like, it might just still be bare bones, right? Maybe there's a picture of this old building that had a beautiful use and a beautiful dream, you know, and then that dream wasn't in alignment with the healing dream of that building wasn't in alignment with the resources, everything, you know, working against it, and then it's dilapidated, and it's, you know, maybe not salvageable, but you could go to the bare bones. The core foundational structure of that building stands. And so that place, that's where we're going and finding ourselves in the core structure of what's left after the great dismantling that we're going through. And so the dream, what we're seeing is that the deconstruction of that building that wasn't able to fulfill its purpose is necessary for the new building to be built, to go down to the bare bones, because whatever happens there, whether it's manifest in form or not, there was an original vision of the use of that building, just metaphorically, right? For healing, for life, for love, and um, then it got corrupted, it got abandoned, it got left behind. It's like falling apart, dilapidated, and most people would look at it and be like, "Oh, don't even bother, just scrape that thing." But you can see clearly that you can take it down to the bare bones, and there's solid construction there in the core of your being. This is your uncorruptible nature, your incredibly faceted, complex structure of all of the things you've experienced over many lifetimes, giving you that purity of soul, that complexity. That is what holds the purity and makes it uncorruptible. And so we've gone through all these stories and we're beating ourselves up still. We're trying to process all this stuff, but may you uncover the beautiful lily that's there at the center and the purity of who you really are and what you really came here to do and be. This is what's being revealed, along with the grief, the old stories, the deconstruction, you know, the complete breakdown. Just let it go, you know, let it go. Like, and get in the go ahead, and it's almost like the kind of, oh, I don't, the it being in an eddy of a stream and kind of feeling scared, like you're in your eddy, you're stuck, but you're moving a little bit, you're going in circles, and then there comes a time where you got to go with the greater flow. Hmm. And that is scary. There's a lot of momentum, and all of a sudden you slip through, and then you're in the current, and then the mother takes you, and you just breathe and you wait for instructions. Say, I'm aligning. I am taking my part, my role as this beautiful, oh, God, worshiping this goddess, this mother we get to walk upon. And it's her dream, her vision. I've got this beautiful piece of it. And she knows more than I know, maybe, and she can support me and hold me and love me to uncover these treasures, to go on this deep dive, to face the old stories, to heal the griefs so we can uncover these treasures and lift up and learn to fly again, take it to a new level. But that requires coming back, tumbling back into the arms of the mother, into that trust. And we can do that just by, whenever we're finding ourselves out there in the constructs, just bring yourself back and breathe, and know that your breath, as you breathe with her, this breath of life, you literally are manifesting and sprouting the seeds. You're bringing the manifestations into form. So when you don't know what's going on, or you're confused, you don't know who you are or what's happening or what your next step, or how to even just get out of the mess you're in, or get into, deal with your mundane, complex, chaotic realities, right? Just stop and breathe with her and let her hold you and love you. And she says, again, message like, no, nothing can keep the love that's yours from you. The love I have for you, nothing can keep that from you. That's our part through existence. And she says that she's just so glad you're here. So just put the pieces back together, keep breathing, keep loving, keep healing, and keep being an amazing, badass supernova soul. It's so wonderful to be with you. And I look forward to connecting with you real soon. Thank you so much for your support and being here, being a part of this group. I'm so glad to have you with us, and it means so much to me. So working with these concepts and your support you're offering is what fuels and flies our supernova reality, our kite. Together, we're doing this amazing project. And so I'm so glad that we're coming into the realization, the reality, the understanding, the perspective that can help us begin to take in. It's almost like, how much can you take in, of the view? It's like the camera, you have to take it in pieces to get the panorama view. And that's what we're doing. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to take this one piece. Whoa, widen my horizon around it. Whoa, I got a lot of weird triggers, but I've also got a treasure under there. And mom says, go ahead. I'm holding space for you. Dig it up. It's okay if it's tarnished and it's got a little goo and maybe some parasites and worms. That's not who you are. Brush it off. Brush it off. This is the power of the energies right now and the rising frequencies. A lot of what we're experiencing is detox in the physical body, and we're like shedding and brushing it off. The vibrational frequencies, the technology energies, the nanotech, the invasion. It's like our body is just raising its frequency and being like, sloughing it off. Nope, no, that's not my reality. This right here with her and our love, our loving mother and our love. So thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.